Well, this is pretty cool. We're at Bourget, very famous French airport where Lindbergh landed back in the early part of the 20th century, and a really amazing air and space museum. We're outside a 747 Air France model that you can tour, and you can see kind of how it was all put together. Here with a bunch of French school kids today. Excuse me. So this is basically what a 47 looks like. So when you strip away all of the when you strip away all of the pretty fancy coverings on the inside, this is the skeleton of it. And it's really fascinating to see what these things were like and what was behind the scenes of this Queen of the Skies, as it was called, the 747. Jackie's never been in a 747 before, so I dragged her down here today to see what it was really like. You can see down through some of the holes in the flooring of what the cargo areas were like. I guess a guy down there supposedly fixing the airplane in flight. Never knew they did that. And then a whole bunch of coach seats, and every now and then you'll come across a scary looking flight attendant. These are more like business or first class. And over to the galley, and on and up into the nose and up into first class. Really a wonderful museum piece, this old Air France 747. There's another scary flight attendant who's looks like she's had too much wine or something. So we're upstairs in the second deck. Back in the days when everybody thought they'd be able to go into a neat first class lounge like this, and then of course the people who own the airline said, why, we could stuff people in there in chairs and make a lot of dough. So the lounges went away. So this is what the cockpit looks like. It's all very dark. Used to have a pilot, co-pilot, and an engineer running all of the systems to make sure the thing stayed in the air. So anyway, pretty cool display to say the least. Emergency exit and all of that jazz, kind of all stripped away. Aboard a 747 at Bourget in Paris. So outside the 747, you really get an idea how big these planes are when you're standing right underneath them. We never get this close to them when we're at the airport, and of course you can't get close to them anymore except in museums, because virtually nobody is flying them anymore. They're all stowed out in the desert or in museums somewhere. So next up, the supersonic transport. Boom. So this is pretty cool. In this one big hall are a couple of Concords. They're all in museums now, obviously. Haven't flown since the accident. Not too far from here, as I recall. It was at Charles de Gaulle Airport. Anyway, this is the business end of a Concorde, and this is how they let you in. I don't think this was the actual stairway, but we go into the Concorde. I'd heard they were not very big, and it seems to be the case inside, but you'd get to LA before you left Paris. So you get to see a little bit of it's too short for a guy who's 6'5" to stand up in, that's for sure. So you can see the chief engineer had to work lots of controls to keep this thing flying along faster than the speed of sound. And that's the cockpit. Teeny tiny, very sleek. So as I remember the story, they used to sweep or inspect the runways before one of these supersonics would take off, just to make sure there wasn't anything bad that the tires could kick up and cause a big problem. Well, that's exactly what happened when one of these tires ran over a piece of metal at Charles de Gaulle Airport, and as I understand the story, threw it up into one of the fuel tanks, and that caught on fire, and we all know the horrific video of one of these coming down. But it was the excuse to get rid of them because they were kind of a loss leader. They were just too expensive to maintain and operate. And so now they're all in museums. But a pretty spectacular piece of man's engineering genius, the supersonic transport.